Welcome back to Today. We're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting with a closer look at the iconic 1965 Roosevelt dime. This dime marked a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage history. So, grab your magnifying glasses, and let's explore its story, design, and circulated value. First, let's talk history. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a key figure in U.S. history and a champion for the March of Dimes, which helped combat polio. By 1965, however, the U.S. Mint faced a major challenge: silver shortages. This led to a monumental change: the removal of silver from dimes and quarters, starting with this very coin, the 1965 Roosevelt dime. On the obverse, you'll see the profile of President Roosevelt, designed by sculptor John R. Sinnock. Notice the fine details in his portrait, the year, 1965, below, and the word Liberty boldly inscribed along the edge. These features have remained consistent in modern Roosevelt dimes, making them instantly recognizable. The reverse side features a torch flanked by an olive branch on the left, symbolizing peace, and an oak branch on the right, representing strength and independence. The motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, ties it all together beautifully. This design has been a staple of the Roosevelt dime for decades, but what really sets the 1965 Roosevelt dime apart is its composition. Prior to 1965, dimes were made of 90% silver. This dime, however, was the first to be struck in a copper-nickel clad composition, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This change made the coin more affordable to produce and marked the end of silver circulation dimes. So, what about its value? Since the 1965 Roosevelt dime contains no silver, its value in circulated condition is generally tied to its face value, 10 cents. However, collectors value this coin for its historical significance as the first non-silver dime. If you have one in uncirculated or mint state condition, it might fetch around $1 to $2 from collectors, depending on its quality and appearance. Coins in higher grades, like MS-65 or higher, are more desirable to collectors. Look for sharp details, minimal scratches, and a vibrant luster. Graded examples by PCGS or NGC can command even higher premiums at auctions or in coin shops. One unique feature of the 1965 dime is its reeded edge. While the copper core is visible when viewed from the side, the fine grooves along the edge are a hallmark of this series and serve as an anti-counterfeiting measure. The 1965 Roosevelt dime had a staggering mintage of over 1.6 billion coins, making it one of the most common dimes of its time. This high production number keeps its value modest in circulated grades, but its place in U.S. coinage history makes it an essential piece for any collection. Here are some quick tips if you're collecting 1965 Roosevelt dimes. Look for high-grade examples with minimal wear. Check for errors or anomalies, like misaligned dies or double dies. These can significantly boost value. Store your coins in protective holders to preserve their condition. The 1965 Roosevelt dime may not contain silver, but its historical significance, iconic design, and affordability make it a favorite among collectors. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or, if you think you have an error coin, consider getting it professionally graded. Always handle your coins carefully and store them in protective cases to maintain their value. Remember, the better the condition, the higher the potential value, especially if it's uncirculated or an error coin. So, there you have it, a closer look at the 1965 United States quarter dollar. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting, this coin is a great piece of history to add to your collection. And who knows? That old quarter in your pocket could be worth more than you think. Before 1965, U.S. dimes, quarters, and half dollars were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. These coins not only had face value but also contained intrinsic value due to their silver content. By the early 1960s, the rising price of silver created a significant challenge. People began hoarding silver coins as their metal value exceeded their face value. This hoarding led to a widespread shortage of coins in circulation, disrupting everyday transactions. In response to this crisis, the U.S. government, under President Lyndon B. Johnson, passed the Coinage Act of 1965. This legislation removed silver from dimes and quarters, replacing it with a more economical copper-nickel clad composition. The half-dollar silver content was reduced to 40%, but even this was later eliminated by 1971. The 1965 quarter was the first U.S. quarter dollar produced with the new copper-nickel clad composition. This new design consisted of, this innovation allowed coins to retain a similar appearance and durability to the earlier silver quarters while drastically reducing production costs. The transition to clad coinage required significant changes at the U.S. Mint. To meet demand and address the coin shortage, the Mint, over 1.8 billion 1965 quarters were minted. This high production number ensured widespread availability and established the quarter as a cornerstone of U.S. coinage. To discourage hoarding and reduce. In today's video, we're diving into a classic, the 1969 Roosevelt dime and its value in circulation. So, let's get started. Here we have the 1969 Roosevelt dime, a beautiful coin in its own right, featuring the iconic image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. But today, we're going to talk about its circulated value, how it fits into the broader history of U.S. currency, and why this dime remains a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. Before we get into its circulated value, let's take a quick trip back in time. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. His image was chosen for the coin as a tribute to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. The dime has remained relatively unchanged since its debut, making it a consistent and recognizable piece of U.S. currency. On the obverse, we see Roosevelt's left-facing portrait, designed by the famous engraver John R. Sinnock. This side also features the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year of minting, in this case, 1969. The reverse shows a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbolizing freedom, peace, and strength. The reverse design was created by Felix Schlag and has become just as iconic as the obverse. Now, let's talk about how many 1969 dimes were produced. The United States Mint produced a total of nearly 1.5 billion Roosevelt dimes in 1969, with coins coming from three different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, for proof sets. With such a high mintage, the 1969 Roosevelt dime is fairly common in circulation today. At face value, the 1969 Roosevelt dime is worth exactly 10 cents, just as it was intended when it was first minted. However, as a circulating coin, its value can fluctuate based on its condition and rarity. Since so many were produced and are still in circulation, a typical 1969 Roosevelt dime in average condition won't fetch more. Its face value? Like any collectible item, the condition of the coin plays a big role. For example, a 1969 Roosevelt dime in circulated condition, which shows signs of wear and tear, will generally be worth only its face value, 10 cents. Coins that are in better condition, such as very fine or uncirculated grades, can be worth slightly more, anywhere from 15 to 30 cents. Now, here's an interesting note for collectors: the 1969 dime can also be found with a variety of mint marks. The ones produced in Philadelphia do not have a mint mark, while those minted in Denver have a D, and the proof sets minted in San Francisco carry an S. While the D and S mint marks don't necessarily increase the value drastically, coins from the San Francisco Mint are often sought after by collectors due to their quality. Though the 1969 Roosevelt dime is not rare in terms of mintage, there are always collectors who are looking to add certain coins to their collections. Over the years, coin values have seen slight increases in the market, especially when it comes to coins that are in pristine condition or part of a specific mint set. For example, 1969 dimes that are graded in MS 65, mint state, or higher can sell for a few dollars, especially if they come from proof sets. So, while a 1969 Roosevelt dime in average circulated condition isn't going to make you rich, it's still an important part of American coinage history. If you find one in your change, it's always worth holding on to, especially if it's in better than average condition. And who knows, maybe one day it'll be worth a bit more to the right collector. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed learning about the 1969 Roosevelt dime and its value, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Leave any questions or comments down below. I'd love to hear about your coin collections. See you next time on, and happy collecting!